Alright, so one influence under the right circumstances can create an entirely different environment in the same establishment. I'll give you an example. Alright, so there's different types of folks who work here, right? Some of them are men, some are women, some are gay, some are straight, some are autistic, some are not, some are into cosplay. A lot of women are taught that they're allowed to play dress up, and men are not supposed to. So we do have a lot of women now who are living very alternate lifestyles with very different hair, very different colored, lots of very colorful makeup in mass quantities, short pleated skirts, basically trying to look like a Japanese schoolboy's cartoon fantasy. Now, the kind of men that attracts are not the kind of men that anybody should want attracted to them. I mean, what that is doing is trying to sell an image of you being younger than you are, or if you are that age, why are you dressing like that? I mean, there's a reason that these cartoons appeal to males of a specific age and females of a specific age. It's because that's puberty. And a lot of people really get into it. Now, what's that got to do with where I'm at now? Well, there's one lady here that does not like me. And the manager, he does like me. She's an assistant manager, I believe, or a shift manager, just a shift supervisor, I don't know. But there's another girl who, she used to work here before, apparently. And so we've got this girl who's kind of a cosplay girl. She wants to give an image of the sweet and innocent anime girl. And, well, that does kind of work out. It worked out for Danny Francis. It worked out very well for Natalie Bollinger. But it's as a matter of, is that who they really are? So this girl that came in today, I've never seen her work here before, and she's got resting angry face. And, no, not really. Not really. Only when it came to looking at me, looking in my general direction, or realizing that I exist. But I've also become kind of a wallflower to the other people who work here. I'm just part of the scenery. Now, when the manager left, I wouldn't call him liberal, but, he served 15 years, matter of fact. What he did exactly, I don't know, and I'd like to ask him, actually. But he's a good influence, and people are very well behaved when he's here. And the young woman who is kind of the anime character type, she very much enjoys putting on the image of sweet and innocent. And when he's here, she's allowed and permitted, and that's who she puts herself off to be when he's here. But then there's this new girl here. There's the manager lady, or supervisor lady, who doesn't like me. Unless she's the one who has to take the till, she'll avoid talking. Today, I felt the need to actually start recording it, because this new girl who came in, well, all the other girls that are here, it's just girls, and that doesn't happen very often at this one. Usually there's a boy there. And when it's just girls, they get downright vicious and mean. I've never encountered this kind of meanness that I just heard out of these women. I've never encountered that out of Starbucks employees, blatantly, openly, and loudly. Now, what's the situation with that? Well, this new girl who came in, she's apparently the hot shit. She's from the area. She worked here once before, and she's a popular girl. The little anime girl and the girl who's maybe not the right body shape to be popular. Both of them immediately became mean girls. You know, the mean girls who say mean things and make fun of people who are mentally ill and people who have mental issues that are beyond their choice. It's not their decision to have these issues. And here we've got employees at Starbucks making fun of the mentally ill outright, blatantly, and openly because this popular girl's there. And these other two girls, the little anime girl and the sweet and innocent one, and the one who doesn't have the perfect body shape, and they want to be friends with this girl. And since this girl who's, she's new to me, she's not new to them. They know something I don't. Maybe she kicked a goal in soccer and it was a spectacular thing, and that's her claim to fame. She's not pretty. If she painted on a bunch of makeup, she would still have that angry face when she looks my direction. That's not pretty no matter how much makeup you paint on. Now, this lady who is here today didn't have a bunch of makeup painted on. But also, the moment that John left, like as soon as John was gone, that's what it became. It became this popular girl stating a bunch of really mean shit. And then everybody else who works there eating it up and getting involved and making fun of these poor people who aren't here to defend themselves. The kind of people that our safe place policy is supposed to protect. It's supposed to be there specifically for the folks that these 4 women that were in there were horrible about. I understand that for the 2 younger ones, it might be a popularity thing, but I know that the older lady, the way that she was taking part, was she's got a very deep-centered hatred. She feels that she is greater or better than. She very much puts off an air of, I am better than you, and looks down upon some people and not others. Kind of like the folks over at Denny's were talking about with, what's her name? Mickey. A shift supervisor should know well enough to put a stop to something like that. There are certain types of hate that are not tolerated by Starbucks. They're not tolerated by the corporate policy, specifically because Starbucks, as a corporation, tries to see us all as human beings. When you've got employees at the Starbucks, and they could be of any walk of life, they could be women like the lady here who doesn't like me. They could be homosexuals, like the guy who didn't like me in Cheyenne at the Starbucks. Everybody else there I got along with. Well, there were 3 employees there that didn't like me. And all 3 for the same, 2 of them for the same reason, and one of them because of Maggie. Maggie was 19, and she was in Cheyenne going to college. Now, one of the other employees thought that it was her place to try to intimidate me, and also to try to tell me that Maggie was only 17 and that she was still in high school. Like, I'm looking at the hours that she's working. College courses, yeah, but no, if she's still in high school, what the fuck is she doing working the hours that she should be in high school? No, she's got a schedule that is scheduled for her college courses. College courses don't go Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day, every day, like it is when you're in high school. You might have 2 classes that you have 3 days a week, and a couple of classes that you have 2 days a week. You might have a couple of days where you have a couple of classes shoved together. You might have one day where you're working a double shift at Starbucks because you have, or where you're working a split shift at Starbucks because you've got 4 hours before your class. It's a 2-hour class, and then an hour to get ready, and then you're coming back to work for another 4 hours. Now, for me, hearing folks that, well, she wants to, these women here put on a persona. We all do. We all try to put on our public face, our everything is okay, we're in public, our life is fine thing. The supervisor here, though, it's an uncomfortable position for me because she doesn't like me. And now she's having 3 other employees who are engaging in very mean girl activities. Now, once that popular girl left, it stopped. It did cease. I had to stand an abnormally long time in line. I can understand that they're busy. But that's one of the things about influencers. It's not going to be as safe of an environment if the manager who's there now or supervisor who's there now is the one who's in charge, especially if it's, well, specifically the 3 girls that were there today. I know that that's not a good combo. They're middle schoolism. Sorry, having connection issues. The thing is that those 2 girls who have been incredibly nice since I got here, or at least not to myself or anyone else, reverted to being mean valley girls over one popular influence coming into the building who works there, who used to work there before and was apparently popular. One influence. Now that one influence was an entirely negative influence from the time that John left, he's the manager, until the time that she left the building. I started recording on my audio device because that's how uncomfortable it was. As soon as they started ragging on the mentally ill, my God, what the hell? And it wasn't just the mentally ill, it was also, well, the homeless. But how could they feel so comfortable about saying such blatantly horrible things about other human beings, about pigeonholing a whole bunch of people? You don't stop to realize that when you call somebody mentally ill, you are pigeonholing everyone with depression. You are pigeonholing every person who is autistic. You are pigeonholing every person with post-traumatic stress disorder. You're pigeonholing every person with schizophrenia or dementia. And I'm going to tell you, most of these people that have been diagnosed as being delusional absolutely are not. They know they're fucking lying. You can see that when they can turn it off at a moment's notice. Molly can go from being an evil fucking cunt to playing victim like that. Every woman I know knows how to do that. Because that's what we teach them. Most of the women that I've known in my life have tried to talk me out of being interested in women. Well, they succeeded. Most of the fuel for my fire, the stuff that you guys hate me saying, I'm repeating what women said to me. Women had to say about other women, especially American women. It's not something in the water that's making American women different. It's bias. It's hatred. It's popularity. It's what they're taught. It isn't a sexist thing to say that there are gender barriers and gender boundaries that we have pushed on us. Like, as a male, when I am victimized, I'm supposed to shut up about it and just take it. When something happens to a woman, I am expected to drop everything at a moment's notice and help her immediately. When I need a woman to speak up, and she tells me she's gonna for months and months and months and months, and then finally, I have to record her saying those things and post it up. And then she's angry with me and wants it taken down now. She wants it down right this moment after all that procrastinating. And I say, hey, for the last 7 months, you haven't done shit. You haven't told these things to the media. You haven't told these things to the courts. You haven't told these things to the police. And you sure as hell haven't tried making the calls with me. You have gone out of your way to hide any way of getting a hold of you and verifying who you are while you're making empty promises at me. Well, I'm stuck at a Starbucks where I am at the mercy not of Starbucks corporate policy, but at the personal bias of the people that work there and the bias of the influences which hold power over them. I get the feeling that both of those girls in there were not the popular girls in high school. Were not the ones that everybody was friends with. They were the ones who had to be overly nice to everybody. And that's the ones that put on makeup. The ones who put on makeup are more likely to be the overly nice ones. The ones who stop wearing makeup and start gaining a little bit of weight, they're the ones who are more likely to scream in your face about an actual issue. The ones who cake on the makeup will scream in your face because you're not attractive. Will pretend that because you're looking their direction, that you must be some pervert who wants to have sex with her, while she's, of course, dressed up in a pleated miniskirt with a whole bunch of makeup on. We've seen this in Boulder, Colorado, time and again. Women who are dressing in a blizzard, they're going to the bar in a miniskirt. And, of course, a fluffy jacket. Got to have the boots with the fur. That helps a little bit. But then you also get to see that very same woman, a grown woman, trying to dress in a way that's going to basically entice little boys who are into that, or grown men who are into little kids. It's gross. And then she goes to the bar and throws herself at a good-looking feller like a $2 hooker. You're not allowed to look her direction or you're a pervert. But she can throw herself at this man, launch her vagina at him out of a cannon, as Michael Vernon says. And that's acceptable. That's not perverted for her to literally make a play immediately for his cock. You're not allowed to look her direction or you're a pervert if you're not good looking or if you're homeless. But if you're good looking, oh my God, game's on. That is supporting rape society. That is supporting gender bias. That is supporting so many things. When I see a woman who paints her face, I know that it's going to be damn near impossible to get a real person out of her, because she's trying to present an image instead of being real. I'm scared to go back into the Starbucks because of the 3 people who are working there right now. The one who is the mean influencer is gone. The other ones knocked that stuff off as soon as the mean influencer was out of the building. But also the person who's in charge, I know, doesn't like me. When you guys want to pretend it's all in my head, no. You do not get to do that to me. You don't get to pretend that because I am autistic that I'm retarded. As far as emotional understanding goes, we rate far higher than a neurotypical, which means we can read your emotions and your intent far better than you can read ours. We pay attention to our surroundings while you believe what you're fucking told. Now, when you have those girls who try to put on the image of the quiet, meek anime girl, and they revert to being a mean girl over one person coming into the building, I'm not going to believe anymore after that she's that poor, innocent, sweet, meek anime girl. I'm not going to believe that with Danny Francis. I'm not going to believe that with Alicia Bollinger, no matter how many different colors you paint your hair or how much makeup you cake on your face. And if you're victimized even after doing that mean girl bullshit, I'm still not going to look the other way. Do you think if someone came into this parking lot and decided that they were going to try to victimize Mickey, do you think I'd just stand there and watch? Even after knowing what kind of a person Mickey is? Of course I'm not just going to stand there and watch. I started recording what was going on in there for a reason. It became a very uncomfortable environment very quickly as soon as John left. The moment he was out the door. By the way, there's 6 people in this parking lot right now who are living out of their vehicle. Right this very moment. Good to be radio. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.